This is the Greater Restorer Chamber of Commerce webinar. We're going to be talking about social media, how to boost your sales through social media. And my name is Gary Grote. I'm the Executive Director for the Greater Restorer Chamber of Commerce. We have some great presenters today who I know will give us some good insights on how to use social media to boost sales, and especially during this time. We know that a lot of people with businesses having the challenges that they've had over the past few months, the social media has been kind of a go-to for a lot of people, but there's still others who haven't taken advantage of it or don't know how to do that. But what I'd like to do is introduce our speakers, and they'll each talk about their experiences and what they've been doing with their businesses and maybe some ideas on how they can help you. And then after each of the four speak, we'll do some questions and answers. But first, I'd like to introduce Scott Perry and Alyssa. Alyssa, I'm sorry, where's your?
McDonald.
McDonald, I'm sorry. Scott Perry and Alyssa McDonald, brother and sister from Aurora Sewing Center, and also our sponsor for the event. We have Amy Alexander from Metamorphosis Pilates and Bodyworks. Heather Sprague from Beulah's General Store, and Jerry West, Lifetime Legacy Creators. Thank you, each of you, for being with us and giving us your insights today. But why don't we just go around the room here and just do a quick intro. Tim, can we start with you? Would you mind?
Am I off mute? Tim Delaney. I own Elma Wine and Liquor.
Okay. Angela?
I'm Angela Drozda. I own Summit Gymnastics and Fitness. I'm also known as Mrs. Coach.
Yvonne?
Yes, I own YMS Art Glass, and also I'm the chair of the Arts and Craftsmen Guild on the Redcraft campus.
Okay. Sandy? Sandy there? Okay, Jennifer?
I'm Jen Reisdorf, and I am from the Bookworm. Apparently my video's not working today, so I'm here.
Okay. Carly?
I'm Carly Evans. I own Affordable Insurance Agency.
Okay, great. And I'm not sure who that is on the phone. We just have a number there.
I don't know.
Oh, okay. All right. We'll go forward. Again, thanks everybody for coming and participating. And Alyssa and Scott, I'll turn it over to you. Okay, talk about some of the things that Aurora Sewing is doing. And
okay. Well, thank you, Gary, and thank you, Victoria. I guess I first want to start off by saying I can't wait to hear everyone else's situation and how to boost sales, because during COVID, we were just trying to make sales using social media. Boost is a big word. I think it's a component of everything else that we try to accomplish in business, you know, in each respective business. But Alyssa and I were talking prior to today's call or meeting, and we were thinking about, okay, social media, what did we do? How did we get to where we are right now? And then we were actually talking about what do we do going forward, right, you know, to regain or boost sales. You know, a boost to me is go from where we've generally been and get higher. We want to get back to where we've been, you know, through the current situation. But, you know, I think the foundation that we talked about was our clientele tends to be 50 plus years old. I mean, that's the lion's share of the typical sewer that's coming into our shop on a daily basis. They're nearing retirement or retired, and this is their hobby. So what we have found is generally that population is very used to Facebook and basic principles of Facebook. And Facebook has become a major social media market or channel to market for us, communication tool.
Mm-hmm.
And prior to COVID, you know, we would put out announcements. Hey, this is what we're doing in 2 weeks. There's a sale going on,
An event coming up.
an event, you know, whatever special things were going on. And about 2.5 years ago, we created an internal business group. So customers could join this internal group.
A private
Private
group.
Yeah. Called Behind the Scenes. They have to answer questions so we know they're a true customer. And then we just let them in. And it started with, you know, 25 people. And I think now we have, I don't know, multiple hundreds of people.
Hundreds. Thousands probably, actually. I haven't looked at the recent numbers.
So that was a way to use Facebook and expand. We've posted events
Mhm.
on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
We have Instagram, an account with Instagram. It's a little bit more limiting because you don't have as much, at least from our perspective, as much interaction as we do with Facebook, both public and private group.
Mm-hmm.
There's less interaction with the customer base and our own staff for that matter. But it's still a useful tool. And you can, when you, you know, push something out on Facebook, if you have an Instagram account, it can also go out on Instagram.
Email, we've done, our email list has grown for years. So we've had that a way of communicating through our customers. So that's, we try and do 2, maybe 3 a week. We don't want to be unsubscribed often because then they don't get the information. So email's been a good source. And then through all this, we've started just doing YouTube, which was a newer thing for us to educate our customers that couldn't come in the store and learn. So we did a YouTube channel so they could have that at their fingertips.
As a reference.
As a reference.
But you know, this didn't happen. Having social media and having a following took multiple years, and it's just because you have these tools, you know, I find it's a 24/7 job to maintain them.
Yes.
Someone asks a question, you know, you need to respond, and we have 2 locations. I don't even know what's going on in either of them, so I have to ask someone, hey, do we have that product? Or we do, you know, tell me about that class, because I don't know the details of that specific question. So it's a continual opportunity and challenge having the social media. And then you also, it's a double-edged sword too, because no one, maybe some of you guys are, but I know I'm not perfect. So when you have an error and you sell a machine and you don't sell it with all its components, right, Victoria? Someone could get upset and they could post something, negative, you know, or on any situation. You have to address that quickly, you know, otherwise you can have a social media issue. So it can be a double-edged sword. So, you know, I think maybe the more recent benefit or opportunities that we've tripped over, and I'll use those words, you correct me if I'm wrong, but
no, it's true.
during COVID, you know, we were trying to reach out early stages. So I think it was probably early April
Mm-hmm.
when we tried to engage and embrace the customers. And it started off with Alyssa and I trying to be social distanced, having a conversation with Facebook Live to our customer base saying, hey, you know, we're here for you. Just call. We'll get you your products. We can put curbside, you know, do curbside pickups, do those type of things. And it started out that way. And then I think one day Alyssa said, I'm going to teach something on Facebook Live, you know, do a session. And then it just started snowballing. The customers kept saying, do more. What are you doing tomorrow? What are you doing the next day? I want to see this. You know, can you show us that? And then we started bringing our teachers back into the business. And it became a once a day activity. And then we got to a point, I think it was.
I kind of like started, then I decided to find things in the store because no one's able to come in and buy anything. So I started like finding things in our basement and things that have been sitting there. And I said, how can I sell it over Facebook? And then I just started putting an item number on it. And putting it in front of the camera, and then everybody would be like, I want it. And then I would sell it for a certain price. And then I would just keep digging and digging. And then I would do that maybe twice a week. And then now I have a huge following. Saturday mornings, I have 2 sessions, 9 and 11. And they're about, the first one's about an hour and the second one's an hour and a half. And I go through so many items that we have been able to keep our business, the lights on, and reopen the doors when we are allowed to.
Basically a Facebook Live auction.
Yeah, and our, we call them and go, congratulations on your winnings today, even though they bought it. And they laugh at us. But through all that, I'm gonna say within the past 2 months, we've had over 1,000 views and comments, which is helpful with Facebook because it blooms onto, you get more, our business name comes up more often, the more views you have and the more comments. So we always say share it, or do any little comment. It could be an emoji or a typing a sentence, and that just blooms it. So Saturdays, I've had over 2,500 comments or views just in that hour and a half that I've done, which has helped me, our business grow in the social media world.
And we're all about shopping local, keeping things local.
Mm-hmm.
But it's okay if someone from California is on our Facebook page buying things, and that's been happening every week.
Yes.
So, that spider web of Facebook has happened for us,
Mm-hmm.
where someone that lives here locally is sharing it with a friend or a relative on the other side of the country, and now they're watching it on Saturday mornings. And, we're happy to ship out there and let them enjoy, what we have to offer. So it's worked out very well. And
I'm getting asked not to stop, so
Yeah.
we'll see what happens.
And I guess the newest thing we've been doing is taking Zoom
Zoom.
and teaching classes in the stores, trying to, again, bring staff back, our teachers, and, do one morning class, one afternoon class, and keep what we normally would do in the
In-house.
store.
Mhm.
We'd have our classrooms full at both stores 7 days a week. Now we have at least one classroom, partially full, and a couple teachers back employed as a result of this, and using Zoom and to do the education, and using Facebook, email, and Instagram to get the message out that we have these classes that we're offering. It's certainly not as, the breadth of classes is not as wide as we normally would have with the doors open, but it's certainly better than nothing. And, it's helping us bridge some gaps, both with bringing staff in and, bringing customers
And also,
in also, but from their couch or their own sewing machine at home. So I don't know, we talked a lot. And I don't know if we were helpful or not, but maybe there's some questions or
Well, why don't we hold on to questions a second, and then at the end, we'll have everybody, if you can just make notes as to if you have questions for Scott and Alyssa, we'll hold them to the end for everybody. But thanks, that was really very interesting, and I think it's helpful, giving people some ideas. Why don't we go with Amy next? Amy Alexander, the microphone is yours.
Okay, thanks. So I'm Amy, Metamorphosis, Pilates, and Bodywork. Is it working? Did it unmute me? Yes, I did. Okay, good. Having one of those days where like my technology's having a little attitude, so it's working right now. So yeah, one of the big differences I think between like what Scott and Alyssa were talking about is you guys are selling goods. I'm selling a service, which is me. And when everything shut down, I already had one client that I was seeing on Skype for months, which was helpful. So when things shut down, I was already comfortable with Skype and could start moving clients to there. And I had a decent percentage stay with me, including some in their late 70s and one in their early 80s, which blew my mind because they were really great about working with me. Like we took some extra time, ran some tests and all that. So I was able to probably keep 2/3 of my business when things first shut down. And then from there, like actually got a couple more back. So I was still between 2/3 and 3/4 what I normally do in the studio live on Skype. So on the social media end of things, it's just me, which, you know, like you guys were saying, it is like, even for one person, like a one-person shop, I mean, it is like time consuming. So I generally do a morning post every day. Some days I have themes, like Tuesday's Gratitude Tuesday. I'm also a Reiki master, so that lets me get a little woo-woo on things without any flack. So I can be very technical with Pilates, and then I can also edge into that side of things. And so I post every day, and I started using the stories pretty heavily on there, so I can have basically a double hit of going on at any time. So for that day, maybe I tended to talk a lot of self-care, mental health, a lot of connecting with other practitioners, especially I have a little network of mental health practitioners that were happy to let me share their information. And I have found myself that the more I connect with other businesses, the more it just gets the word out about what I do. So the more that I'm just a general resource to people as a connector and a hub, they see me, and it gets them to think of me. And then when they're ready, they reach out, and you know, when they're ready to make the commitment to do the work, because Pilates is work. Reiki is easy. You get to lay on the table like a sack of potatoes, but Pilates is like you're actually, you know, you're working pretty hard. So I was sharing resources, and then one of the things we work on in Pilates is learning how to breathe. So with everybody's stress level being high, I was like, okay, what can I do? I'm like, well, I'll use Facebook Live, which I hadn't really used before all of this. So I started doing, I call them breathing practices. So I take people through learning how to do lateral breathing, and then a little meditation technique every time. And then I just talk about whatever was kind of the topic that my clients were talking about, like their stress level, kids having meltdowns or whatever, and just some ideas of resources to reach out to. And it was interesting because I had one friend who watched every single time, which was like, I'm like, hello, Dennis, you know, every time. But then I started to get a little bit more of an audience, not anything huge, but I noticed people were sharing it. And then from there, I got the idea, because I had some friends who were in pretty rough situations where they had applied for unemployment, didn't get any funding. Honestly, several of them until like this week. Like it's been almost 3 months for them with very much, you know, almost no income besides the stimulus and the first $600 from unemployment. So they were hitting the food pantries and depending on the schools for food. So, you know, you're sitting there like, okay, what can I do to help them? It's not like I'm sitting on any money myself right now. So I threw together a Facebook Live event and did a mat class on Facebook Live, and you could add a donation button, and I picked like Rural Outreach Center first. So we raised money for them. So then the next week I had Carrie at Hum Yoga and Sound, who works out at East Aurora Acupuncture, reached out to me, and she's like, hey, I could do a meditation. I'm like, awesome. So we did that, and we did Bread of Life pantry in Colden. So we did that. Then the next week I did another class for, I think we did fish. We were just hitting the biggest food pantries in the area. And then I reached out to Sarah at On Track Fitness and Wellness, and she hadn't been doing anything because she's got a bunch of kids at home. So she's been playing teacher the whole time, but she was great because she's like, I need to get back into this. I need to get comfortable. So for her, it was like, hey, here's a crash course in Facebook Live. And along the way, we learned how to cross post to each other's pages. So the three of us were feeling very cool because we could run Facebook Live on multiple pages at the same time. And we were all like, oh, look how awesomely technical we are, which really, compared to what some other people do, is not huge. But for us, we were like, great. And so we raised more money with that. And then I've done a fundraiser with the Westfall Center for the Arts before. And, you know, music and arts has been suffering. So I talked to them, and I'm like, you guys want to do a Sunday thing? So we did a couple weeks ago on a Sunday, because I know they don't have anything on their schedule normally on Sundays. Nick Thurkins, who Nick actually does the gardens at the Roycroft. He does the music for me. This was our third event together. So we did a Pilates mat class at the Westfall Center for the Arts in their setup that they have for their music events right now, which again looked amazing on camera, and raised some funds for them. So it's an interesting thing I found when I reach out to do something for the community, it comes back. So in the process of just getting the word out, I've already had a new client come. I won a $100 gift card from the Better Business Bureau because they were looking at companies that were doing things for community. But one of the biggest things too is just I've watched the following grow on my social media because I'm sharing it all over the place, asking people to share. And it's for, it's for a bigger cause than me, but it all comes back around. So it's been really rewarding, which is really cool. And then the new client was like a huge surprise. She's like, "Oh, I saw your West Falls event." And I'm like, well, that's really neat how that came back around. So it's been, the Facebook Live events have been really great for me to reach out to a new audience and to also make my own, like the following I had before that, more cohesive, and to really, I guess, get the feel out there of how I want the studio to be viewed. It's like, this is what it's here for. It's for community. It's not just like, yes, I need to make money. I have to keep the lights on. We'd like to keep the doors open. But yeah, it's definitely serving the greater good has helped me business-wise. And that's been pretty cool, through this whole thing. And Scott and Alyssa, I actually met a woman who came all the way out from the city of Buffalo. I met her at Cornerstone to pick up stuff from your place. So she was super cute because she was I'm basically like pointing her to the menu, and we ended up chatting quite a bit, and she loved what you guys are doing. And she and her husband were so cute. They're like, "I've never been to East Aurora. Everybody's so nice here. This is super cool." And so she's coming back just to hang out at some point, which is really neat. So what you guys were doing was almost like tourism too, bringing people out from all different places, which was really cool. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, I use email and that too regularly. And what else? We updated the website. I work with Buffalo Wired on my website. We updated it. We added the ability to be added to my email list. I email when I feel like I need to, which is usually about once a week. But yeah, I would say honestly, Facebook Live stories using the stories on Instagram and Facebook were my biggies. And then just consistent posting, at least one a day, usually two, to just keep people engaged, all the time. Yeah.
Great, thanks, Amy. I mean, you can see some commonalities here already with trying to spread the network and reaching out to groups that you might not normally reach out to, and how that, like you said, Amy, that all comes back to you. So that's really cool. But Heather, your turn. Okay, you got the mic now.
Unmute. Okay. First of all, I've never done this before, so I have a couple questions. Is there any way that I can see everybody?
Hold on a second. Yes, if you look up, you're on your phone, there should be a way to go from speaker view to gallery view, and then you can see everybody.
Where?
I'm not
so
sure.
Sorry.
No, that's all right. It depends on what kind of phone you have. I'm not sure exactly how.
I can see only 4 people at a time.
Yeah.
I guess it doesn't matter. And I'm the only one who's upright. I like it.
Good.
Okay, I'm gonna go for it. Okay, so I obviously use social media well before the whole pandemic started, both Instagram and Facebook. I don't necessarily follow all of the traditional rules or current marketing rules as far as cross-posting. I'm a one-man show when it comes to most of my social media. So I know they say it's best to post different content, you have different audiences there, but my business kind of started and grew at the same time as, like they grew together. I didn't necessarily start with Facebook and then Instagram come along. So I pretty much post everything, both places the same. I will go back in and change tags on Facebook. So people are tagged properly on there if I'm doing any kind of collaboration or tagging a brand, something like that. But both pretty big heavy hitters for me as far as keeping my customer base engaged. I don't think that I used it any more or less during the pandemic or during the shutdown period of it. I guess if anything, I did use it more in the sense that I was doing a lot more of the live, I was doing the stories, to me, that's the number one, that feedback is constant and is daily. Things I'm posting in stories. The way that I choose to do that is by keeping the boxes coming. I've kind of created a beast here at the store with having to have new product. People are constantly looking at my store and what's new. So that was kind of a way to keep people engaged, letting them know something would be arriving, keeping them a part of the process, and the feedback. It was kind of constant. In a way, I think that it was a rare opportunity for a store like mine because I was a captive audience. For, everybody was home. And I was pretty real. I think that works for me. I have 3 kids. I run the store. My husband works full time. So this was a serious crisis for us. Homeschooling, being essential in my own little world, maybe not the rest of the world. It was a lot of juggling. And I think sharing that kept my audience, with me. They felt it was relatable. And I share a little bit of my personal life as well. So I think a good balance for me is to keep the product, central to my posting and what I'm sharing. And then, humor is my avenue of communication at the, pretty much at the store and in life. But so that was, I try to balance the post between, product, having something funny or something shareable that maybe isn't even related to the store, but something on my page that somebody else can relate to. It may not be something they can buy, but if it's something that they feel, whether it's pandemic related or parenting related, and it's shareable, that is, like everybody else was saying, the more you have that engagement on your platforms, the more people are going to see you. So I tend to kind of think about my customers and their faces when I'm bringing product in, and I didn't stop buying. I didn't slow down at all on that end my store looked like an Amazon fulfillment center. It was horrible to transition back to having people back in it because it was just such a mess. But I kept that same mentality of I need to find new product. I need to bring in things that people are going to be excited about. And even if that turned into face masks and hand sanitizer, I had to still find a way to do those things because that's what, people were still shopping. I found that during the whole shutdown, I had to kind of make it comical. Like if you weren't going to shop local, then you were going to be getting your, spouse's birthday gift at CVS or Rite Aid. So that helped me keep people coming back to see what we were going to have. I also held on to every holiday. It was my life-saving thing. So it started with Easter for us, and it was like, what can I turn into this sort of Easter basket, Easter stuffer? So, and then each one after, whatever the holiday was, we grabbed a hold of it and just tried to make the most of that. Father's Day coming up, so same thing. Trying to look at my notes here. Partnerships worked well with me. We could kind of cross-promote with other pages, other businesses, product-wise, giveaways, things like that. Anything that's kind of going to grow for me. People are going to like something, they're going to comment on something if they can win something. I choose to look at giving things away as like a marketing expense. I don't do a ton of print marketing. I don't have a huge marketing budget. So by choice, that's my choice. I find that using the social media platforms is my marketing. So the giveaways, like to give away a cup that cost me $14, that's not a big deal. And you get a ton of people they come back to see, did they pick a winner yet? Are they giving something else away? Or even just the lead up to things was pretty powerful for me. Wanting people to come back. So we have a special, delivery coming Friday, keeping that engagement. You want to, for me, it was that person coming back, and the sharing was huge, for people that maybe they were a customer. And like the sewing center said, if you have, at this point, everybody was shut down. We were all shopping online. So, myself included. So that I was gaining customers from all over the country. I could have shipped all over the world if it was possible for me. I didn't want to get into that, but yeah, it was a period of growth really for us. So things that really don't work for me were handing over my social media. So as much as I built it up, I have kind of become the store, and the store has become me. People expect to see my face and hear from me. So while it doesn't work for me to necessarily give the reins to my employees to go on there and announce things, run things, I do try to hand it off to them occasionally to keep product posted on weekends, now that those are kind of a thing for me again. So I don't know that I'll ever be able to step away from that role as being the content provider there. Yeah, I think it's just a huge opportunity, the social media, all of it. I think at the end of the day, it was really for me about connection and being relatable to people. My customer ranges from 14-year-old girls to 85-year-old women, and I can relate to all of them. I have kids. I am buying things that 85-year-old women find interesting, they've never seen before, trying to just keep it product fresh like that. So and then the last thing that really helps me is just reminding my audience of what they can do for free to help. I think this town especially, everybody loves small business. So those likes, and while people might not have had the income to be shopping at that point, just reminding them that liking, commenting, sharing, that's all so valuable to all of us as small business owners, and it's free. So I like to remind my audience of that whenever possible. I think that's really it for me. Oh, and TikTok. We took up TikTok, my daughter and I. So that was while it was geared more towards my TikTok following is kids, we would cross-post them onto the page, and it became a source of entertainment for people. I still think I might look back in a few months and think, what was I doing? But got me through, kept people entertained.
Well, great, thanks. Did you have anything else, Heather?
No, I think that's it.
Okay, great, thank you. I mean, it's really interesting to see how, from each of the speakers in a different way, the personal aspect, the developing relationships with people via social media, we don't normally think of it that way. I mean, you think of, you want people to come into your store or to your studio or wherever, and you're developing that relationship face to face. But that's really an interesting, to me, I didn't think of it that way, that developing that personal relationship over social media is really important, because you obviously we have this distance between us, and how do you get that feel to let people know who they're really dealing with somebody local, they're having the same issues I am, but they're really providing me with great information about their business and their services and products and things. So I think that's really an important point. So thank you. Mr. West, your turn.
All right. Thank you, Gary, for having me on. Thank you, Victoria, for asking me. Hello, everybody. You guys, I'm so excited about everything that I heard so far that you're all doing. Just so you guys know, my business is a little bit different than probably everybody else's that's on here, because it's 100% online. So, I've almost everything, all of my sales are from social media. It's a global business. I've been doing Zooms and Facebook Lives and posting content and adding new connections and doing that for years. So when this whole pandemic thing happened, I noticed a lot of businesses that were brick and mortar. The owners are starting to put themselves out there and beginning to learn to do all the things that I've really been doing for years, which I absolutely love it. And you're starting to see the potential of what that can mean. So for those that don't know, like I actually have several different products and services that I represent, but 90% or more of all of my sales the last 3 years are CBD products. I have a brand of high quality CBD, all different kinds of products. I'm not going to go through them because that's not why I'm here. But I don't have a storefront on Main Street or in a village anywhere. So my storefront is essentially my Facebook profile and my LinkedIn profile. That's my storefront. And I personally think for any solo entrepreneur or even small business that like you guys have, that the owner needs to be the face of the business, because that relationship that all of you are forming with your customers is what's going to keep them coming back to you. And just like Heather said, like, you always have to be involved with the content that's going out there. Well, it's almost because your business, really, the first impression people get of your business is you. The first thing people do in today's day and age, even before this pandemic, and now so more than ever, is if somebody refers somebody else to your business, they're going to go look it up. They're going to go look it up on social. They're even going to find out who you are, and they're going to look you up and see what you're all about. Because people almost care more about who you are and what you represent than what your actual business sells. I know there's not like a lot of sewing centers around, but people can get CBD anywhere. So why would they buy it from me when they can get it from Family Video or Abercrombie and Fitch or who the heck knows where else is selling CBD? But they have to have a reason to get it from me. And the only reason they would get it from me is because I'm putting value out there. They're attracted to me as a person, and they know me, they like me, and they trust me. So I was going to share a screen, but I'm not even going to do that because I'm just going to go through. What I really wanted to go through today is when people look you up on social media, you really have to be cognizant of what you want them to see, because they're not just seeing your business page. And I'm sure nobody's putting trash out on their business page, but I've seen business owners that their personal profile, when I go to it, I don't understand what they're thinking. So this is what I call attraction marketing, attracting people to you rather than repelling them. And that's what I do. I build my personal brand because I am my personal brand. Like Lifestyle Legacy Creators is the name of my corporation, but I created that brand. My brand is really Jerry West when it comes down to it. And so, I want my profile to be to have a nice professional looking profile picture of me. I don't want it to be my business logo or an image of a product or my dog. I want people to know who I am. I want them to know my face and associate me with my business. And I want my Facebook profile to have curbside appeal, just like you would want your storefront to be. A nice cover image, an attractive bio, title, feature photos, business links, and more. I want people to see all that stuff. And when they visit my profile, I want them to be impressed. I don't want there to be nothing on there, or for it to be private and just sitting there and there's no content for anyone to see and they can't learn anything about me because they're never going to do business with me. Now, when it comes to content, you want content on your pages that's going to attract people and not repel them. So to me, what is attractive is positivity, motivation and inspiration, lifestyle activities, putting things out there that let people get to know you and what you're doing, what your lifestyle is all about. Value in your area of expertise. Like Scott and Alyssa said, the sewing classes, amazing stuff. I love what Tim Delaney does. He's always giving value in his area of expertise. Amy's doing the same thing. Provide solutions to people, become an authority in your space, and you're going to start to attract followers from all over the place. I think this is very important. Be original, authentic, and relatable. Show people that you're a real person. Don't copy content and share content from other sources. Put original content out there. And most of all, let people get to know you. Things that repel people are any kind of negativity. You don't want to use your social media, even your personal profile, airing dirty laundry. I stay away from news and politics personally. When someone comes to my page, I don't need to be the COVID-19 information center sharing press releases all day long, to me, that's a turnoff. I don't need to post about my business every single time I post. As a matter of fact, I hardly ever post about my business. Actually, I post value almost 95% of the time. You don't want to complain or put anybody on blast on social media. One thing that bothers me a lot is people being inappropriate or arrogant. If someone goes to your page, you don't want them to see inappropriateness or you being arrogant, complaining about somebody else, and then constantly sharing things from other pages all day long instead of posting original content that's coming from your heart and your head. My daily method of operation is I add new connections every single day. So every single day, I'm adding people to my LinkedIn, I'm adding people to my Facebook, I'm getting to know them, I'm sending them a message, letting them know that I appreciate them connecting with me, building relationships with people, that know, like, and trust factor. If they're local, I will set up a coffee with them, say, hey, you want to get together and network and see how we can help each other out. And most of all, I engage and comment on other people's posts. I spend a little bit of time every single day going through the nose feed, commenting on other people's business posts, liking other people's business posts, helping them out and giving as much as I possibly can, because how can I expect somebody else to support me if I'm not supporting them? So in conclusion, because I don't want to drag things on here, is the most important thing to me is be a giver. I truly believe that people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And I know that is kind of like a cliche, but when I put myself out there, it's to support other people and support their businesses, support local business, and to see how I can serve them. How can I help you? Because the more that I look to help other people, even if I'm just doing it on social media, because what I figured out is I can do all this stuff sitting at home on my couch wearing my pajamas if I want to. I can meet new people every day. I can support their business. I can order stuff online. I can like and comment on a post. I'm sure that you guys notice who likes and comments on your posts, right? And you get to know their names and they send you messages. Well, it just makes sense. If you're doing that for other people and you're supporting them, they're going to come back and they're going to support you. And that's how you get. So that's really what I wanted to go over today. I mean, I teach people, what I really do is I teach people how to make money from their phone from anywhere in the world. As long as they have one of these devices and an internet connection, they can actually do business. And that's really what I do for a living. And I could probably teach a whole course on how to really market your business and build your brand on Facebook, but that would take forever, and I only have 10 minutes here. So, but you guys are all doing great. I mean, really, I don't see, I apologize, Heather, I've been in your store plenty of times, but I haven't seen your Facebook. And I don't sew, so I haven't seen Aurora Sewing Center, but from what you guys say, I really think that, you know, you're picking this up and you should keep doing it after this ends, because you'll really grow your audience and you'll keep it up. Tim Delaney, I see his stuff all the time. Love your videos, your knowledge of wine and all that stuff. I mean, that to me, he's building a relationship with his customers so that they know, like, and trust him, and they're always going to come back to his store, even if they have to drive that extra mile. And I see Amy doing the same thing. So that's really all I have for you guys. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it. I hope it was helpful.
Great, Jerry. Thank you very much. It was, and I have to say that all this information from each of our presenters was tremendous. I think it had a great value in so many different ways, and I hope that those who are present here on this this call here recognize that. I'm sure you do. But when our members see this as a recording, that they'll recognize that also. But why don't we open it up to, if there are questions or comments or anything else, just unmute your mic and we'll go forward from there. Anybody have any questions or comments or anything?
I do. if I may. Jerry, thanks for the kind words and thanks for watching, even though I don't think you even drink wine, so appreciate it. My question is for Heather, especially on TikTok. I'm glad you remembered that at the end, because I'm just curious. I noticed in your Instagram feed you were cross-posting. Have you seen any traction from TikTok itself, or is it helping you connect with any demographic in particular, or anybody new coming into your sphere because of it?
No. I don't think it wasn't initially for me to promote product. We tried to do that, and we have a couple of the posts, but it was really more for the entertainment value. I found that to be what people were coming back for. They were looking for it to be entertained. Everyone was home bored, and they already watched Tiger King. So why not come back and check to see if there was another attempt at dancing on my part and my daughter. So yeah, I mean, the actual TikTok itself, I don't, that's probably the one social media platform that I won't miss during, if this happens again, God forbid. I'll go back to it if I have to, but wasn't something that grew sales for me. I guess I shouldn't say that. I wasn't promoting product on TikTok that then I saw translate into a sale in my store, but I definitely saw growth in my social media platforms over both Facebook and Instagram, just solely because of the videos and the comments that we would get on the videos and the feedback, and people wrote me handwritten letters about the entertainment that we provided. So it was all worth it.
Great, thanks. Speaking of the Tiger King, a couple of my employees are probably going to be in to buy that candle that you posted earlier.
Yeah, and I always say this too, when it came to like posts like that, sometimes in social media, like the likes to me is monopoly money. You know, it's not real. You know, I see tons of Instagrams and Facebooks that have a ton of followers, but I know that their sales aren't great. You know, I'm friends with these people, and everything might be a perfect little square box and it's beautiful, aesthetically pleasing to look at. But for me, I need to know that what I'm posting, someone's coming in, they're calling about that product. So it's not always perfect and pretty, and it doesn't look, you know, like some of the lifestyle blogger posts do, but I'd much rather have a sale than a like on anything.
Any other questions, comments? Sure. Okay. Well, let Victoria and I just have the mic just for a second, just to talk about, and then we'll come back if there are any other questions or comments. We can go over those and then wrap up. But we do have, you know, this is probably the 5th in a series of webinars that we've done on different topics since this COVID situation has come up, and each one has been very valuable in its own way in addressing the needs and concerns of our members. And it's coming from you guys, from our business people, from our membership that are doing great jobs in the community. So I want to thank you for that. But we'll continue to do these as we go further into this situation. We know we have a couple more phases that need to open up yet, but maybe even after that, even if we're able to go live, we can still use this as a tool for ourselves as a chamber to communicate in this method and share information that's for the good of everybody. But what I wanted to do very quickly is, and I'll turn it over to Victoria too, is to talk about our sidewalk sale. I think most of you probably know that we're not doing a sidewalk sale this year, at least a live one, for obvious reasons, and we've communicated that with our membership and the community. We're going to try a virtual sidewalk sale, and we have an opportunity for vendors and also for entertainment and demonstrations. And so, Victoria, can I turn it over to you, and then you can talk about that, the process a little bit more?
Sure. Sorry, my cell phone was singing to me. So what we've done is we're going to do the virtual sale. We're going to host it on through the Chamber's Facebook page. Actually, we created an event for the Street Festival and Sidewalk Sale there. So what we're going to do is utilize that as well as our website, and vendors will be able to, for a very nominal fee for Chamber members, I think it's $40, you can be listed on our website as a vendor, and we're going to do multiple posts about you. You have the potential to post in the event yourself about things that you're doing. If you're having live sales, if you have a product you want to feature, you know, whatever it happens to be, let us know. We'll share it and drive people to your page. But then you can also come in the event yourself and post about your business and what you're doing to drive more sales. The sale actually is going to be 3 days long. It's going to be July 23rd, 24th, and 25th. And it's really all going to be virtual through Facebook. We're going to boost the event so that it reaches a lot more people than just, you know, having it sit there. So we're planning on doing that. But the point that I want to make is that, you know, we have heard from 4 great people who are really utilizing it and using their social media. If you're a vendor, we really want you to do that. Don't just rely on the Chamber to post about you, because we're only going to post a couple times. We really want you guys to use this opportunity to utilize your Facebook page, put your products up there, put yourself out there, and really communicate with your target audience. And hopefully new people, bring new people in too. But if people show up and go to your page and there's nothing going on, they're not going to come back. So it's really important that, you know, that you schedule a post and do some Facebook Lives during that event. Let us know that you're doing it, because we will put together kind of a listing of events that are happening. Some of it's going to be entertainment, but if you're having, like Alyssa, if you're having a live sale that Saturday, let us know. We'll post the times there. We'll include it on our website as well as a Facebook page that morning saying, hey, here's what's going on today in the virtual sidewalk sale. And then people can choose, and we'll tag you and link whatever you need, things like that. So it's really a good event to maybe continue doing what you're doing, to also reach out to maybe new people who don't know much about you and might be interested, as well as reach out to those people who come and see you one time a year and, you know, may not come back because they come for that sidewalk sale. You know, it's a good way to kind of, hey, you know, yeah, we're not having a live event, but we're having this virtual event, and you can support your favorite stores and your favorite vendors through virtual purchases and things such as that nature. So, but so that's really about that. And we're using this as kind of a way to teach people, you know, that they don't have to be afraid of social media. I know in my past life, I knew so many businesses that were afraid to do social. They didn't understand it. They didn't know what to do. And then I see them now, and they're still floundering, and they're kind of forced into using it now, but they really don't know how. So we were hoping that this would kind of help people not be quite so afraid to use it. So.
Thank you, Victoria. I think that, you know, when our board looked at this, and we know how important the sidewalk sale, street festival, an event each year is to a lot of our members in terms of revenue, the number of people it drives to Main Street and into the stores, and we felt we needed to do something, and this is the closest we can come to help to keep East Aurora stores, businesses in the view of the Western New York community. So using the tools that Victoria said and some of the methods that she described, we're going to do our best to do that, to continue to do that. And we have some good sponsors who are going to help us share the word through their networks too. So we're still going to be able to drive people to our Main Street businesses during that time period, and others too. So obviously we're not looking just at brick and mortars here, but we're looking at others throughout the Greater East Aurora area too. And that's what's kind of the cool things too, that normally, you know, people say we focus a lot on East Aurora and on Main Street. this offers an opportunity to broaden our scope to reach a number of other businesses throughout the area. The other thing that we're going to do on a few days prior, we haven't selected a date yet, prior to the 23rd, we're going to do a ribbon cutting on Main Street to say Greater East Aurora is open. We're going to do a little press conference. We're going to, you know, we don't want to do it now because there's still phasing coming in and not everything is open yet. By the time we hit the sidewalk sale timeframe, mostly everybody should be open. There should be greater accessibility. People should be more comfortable going into stores and stuff. So we're going to have a ribbon cutting at that time. We'll invite all the press, do a little press conference, talk about inviting Western New York to East Aurora, and also to feature the sidewalk sale too. So we'll have an opportunity to boost both the brick and mortars in the area, but also going online during that July 23rd to 25th period to see what our other businesses have to offer too. So again, it's for vendors who are selling things. It's for if you're doing any kind of, you know, what we want to do is carry what we do, especially for entertainment and demonstrations on Main Street, offer those opportunities too, so that people can look to see what the dance studios are doing. You know, Angela, maybe, you know, Summit Gymnastics could do something, and, you know, because you guys have been a participant in the past, and we can have that online and kind of incorporate all that together into a truly virtual sidewalk sale street festival. So if you have any questions, you're interested, let us know, but we hope you'll share the word also. But let me go back to kind of wrap up. I don't know if there are any other questions or anything that anybody has, any comments? All right. Well, with that, then, I'd just like to thank you all for participating, but especially for our presenters, for Scott and Alyssa, Amy, Heather, and Jerry. Truly appreciate it. And we know, like I said, I thought this was really tremendous, and really appreciate your input and what you brought to the table today. So thank you all for participating tonight. We truly appreciate it. And we'll keep you up to speed as to other things that we're doing that as a chamber member you can take advantage of, and hopefully will be of value to you. So thank you very much and have a great night.